Ioana. Many employers across industries have had to lay employees off from work, particularly where roles could not be converted to work from home arrangements or where business volume has dropped dramatically. Have the layoff rules changed as a result of the pandemic, and if so, how?
It's an interesting question because in some provinces, the layoff rules have changed, and in other provinces, like in Ontario, the layoff rules have not changed. Where the layoff rules have not changed, there may be specific notice requirements employers have to be mindful of before proceeding to actually lay off an employee. For example, in Alberta, it's 1 or 2 weeks, depending on the employee's length of service of notice. But in unforeseen circumstances, such as COVID-19, it may mean that a layoff notice could be less. Fortunately, though, in Ontario, there is no notice requirement before proceeding to a layoff. There may also be specific defined durations or options for longer durations of layoffs, depending on the jurisdiction. For example, in Ontario, there are the shorter layoffs many employers will be aware of by now of up to 13 weeks, but the layoffs can be longer of up to 35 weeks if the employer provides some form of compensation to employees throughout the duration of the layoff, which is typically continuing an employee's pension benefits or health benefits throughout the layoff. There are also a couple of provinces, including Ontario, where a layoff week includes when an employee is earning less than 50% of their regular wages, which is something some employers might not necessarily be aware of. Also, in some provinces, it may be possible to extend the duration of the layoff in special circumstances. For example, in the Northwest Territories, COVID-19 would constitute a special circumstance. But those are things that have not changed. In relation to what has changed, there are some provinces that have adapted to COVID-19 realities employers are facing with special amendments to layoff rules. For example, there are some provinces that have amended their legislation to allow for longer layoffs due to COVID-19, such as in Alberta and BC. And some provinces have also amended their legislation to allow layoffs to be indefinite for the duration of the public emergency, such as Saskatchewan and Manitoba.